Let's look at rounding decimals. It might help to go ahead and look at rounding whole numbers. Round to the underlined digit. This is 632. It's a whole number. And then so in this case here, we circle the 6 because that's the place value that we're rounding to. And so that's the hundreds place that we're rounding to. Underline the neighbor 3. And if it's 0 to 4, circle stays the same. And so the circle stays the same. Flexing our muscles like a hero, digits to the right change to 0. All other digits stay the same. No other digits staying the same. And yo, you're a winner at the rounding game. So 632 rounded to the hundreds place is 600. So again, so if we have something like this, 817, I like to always kind of just push it on over like this. If we're going to the underlined digit, all right, 0 to 4, circle stays the same. And then, so we'd have to do the circle though. 5 to 9, add 1 is the game. So the 1 becomes a 2, flexing our muscles like a hero, digits to the right change to 0, all other digits stay the same. So 817 rounded to the tens place is 820. Does this rounding wrap still work with decimal numbers? In this case, I'm rounding to the tenths place here. And so let's take a look. So if I'm rounding to the tenths place and I was given this number, 8.17, and they would say, hey, round this here to the tenths place. And then so I would say, okay, well, I know what their tenths place is, and I would have rewritten this like this here, and I would have circled that 1 there and underlined the 7. 0 to 4, again, looking at the neighbor, 0 to 4, circle stays the same. 5 to 9, add 1 is the game. So the 1 becomes a 2. Flexing our muscles like a hero, digits to the right, change to 0. Change to 0. All other digits stay the same. Okay, the 8 stays the same. So the things that you need to remember is to put that decimal point there. And then the other thing is this. It's said to round to the tenths place. In this case, if we read this number, we would be saying 8 and 20 hundredths. And if we had given that as our answer, it wouldn't be right, because they asked for you to give a tenths number. And then so what we need to do is you could either erase that 0, or you could just rewrite it. And then so I'll just rewrite it there for you. And then so now we have a tenths number. 8 and 2 tenths, which makes more sense, because their original instruction was round to the tenths place. So 8 and 17 hundredths rounded to the nearest tenths place is 8 and 2 tenths. Alright, let me show you a few more examples before you try some on your own. It says round to the underlined digits. I have this number 18 and 324 thousandths. I'm looking at this 2 right here that's underlined, meaning I'm rounding to the what place? I'm rounding to the what place? Right? Hundredths place. I'm going to go ahead and circle that 2 and underline the 4 to follow that strategy and approach. I'm looking at that neighbor, so the circled digit stays the same. Okay, flex your muscles like a hero, digits to the right change to 0. And then I look at, and all other digits stay the same, including that decimal point. And what I'll do for my answer there is, because I'm rounded to the hundredths place, I'm going to go ahead and erase that 0. For my next number here, 17 and 613 thousandths, I do that same strategy, and in this case here, I'm rounding to the tenths place. So I should end up with a tenths place number. 0 to 4, circle stays the same. 5 to 9, add 1 is the game. So in this case, the neighbor is a 1, so this stays the same. Flexing your muscles like a hero, digits to the right change to 0. But since those digits are after the decimal place, I could write them in, but I'll end up erasing them again. And those are the other digits. Take my eraser. Dun, 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 dun. 17 and 6 tenths. 17 and 613 thousandths. Rounded to the nearest tenths place is 17 and 6 tenths. Final problem. Circle this here, underline that there. In this case, we're rounding to the ones place here. We're actually rounding to the nearest whole number as well. And then so oftentimes you might be asked to round to the nearest whole number. And then we know that our whole numbers are our counting numbers, including 0. And then so 73 and 425 thousandths rounds to think. Look at that there. See what sort of strategies you need. It goes to 73. 0 to 4, circle stays the same. 73, all other digits right there as well. Let's give you a chance to try this. Here's 2 of them for you to try. Hit pause. Did you write tenths place numbers? Did you write 42.6 or 42 and 6 tenths? And did you write 31.7? You would have had to, maybe you accidentally wrote those zeros in. Did you erase them both? That's rounding to the tenths place there. And that's why we have 2 tenths place numbers. Let me give you a few more. Alright, it's time for you to try. Hit pause. Did you round that first one to 7.13? That second one is just 170. We can't just write 17. We would write 17 tens, but to write 17 tens, that's 170. And for that final one, we had 183 and 96 hundredths. Circle the 9, underline the 6. 0 to 4, circle stays the same. 5 to 9, add 1 is the game. Oh, but I can't put a 10 in that digit. And then so that gets regrouped over to the 3. Add 1 more to the 3. I get 184. And I do need to write the 0 there because this is a tenths place number. I would say probably this one here is probably the most confusing. And so if you got that, give yourself a little cheer. Woohoo! Let's look here, and I'm just going to show you one last time to go ahead and show you, hey, 3 and 176 thousandths rounds to 3.18. And again, I can't put a 0 there. Can't put a 0 there because I'm rounding to 100. I'm looking for a hundredths place answer. And then so don't make that common mistake. I'll see a lot of students try to put a 3.180 as our answer, and so you can't do that. The other thing that you need to be aware of is that you must understand place value. So if you were given this number here, and if you were asked to round to the hundredths place, What digit is in the hundredths place? If you were thinking 3, great. You would circle that 3, underline the 2, and come up with our answer. And again, you can't put the 0 there in your answer. 6 and 732 thousandths rounds to 6 and 73 hundredths. My answer is reasonable. It makes sense. And that's how we round decimal numbers.